guys, today we're going to be doing mixture problems. These are going to be similar to rate problems and the coin problems. You know, you got to set up your little charts. I would prefer that you set up charts individually for each problem than making that one big chart. I think that makes it really confusing for you guys to go back and see how you did the problems when you got everything in the same chart. I know it's a lot of work to make these charts, but really in the big scheme of things, it's really not that much work. So we're on page 169, mixture problems. I'm going to read the example. A feed store owner wants to mix corn and barley to make 150 bushels of silage additive for cattle feed. If corn costs $2.40 a bushel and barley costs $2.20 a bushel, how many bushels of each grain should he mix to yield an additive worth $2.34 a bushel? So, okay, so we have to figure out, you know, where is X, and we're going to start with the number of bushels. So I put number of bushels here, price per bushel, and total price. Is there anything that we can fill out already? Well, we do know that corn, right here, how much does that cost? So if corn costs $2.40 a bushel, we can put 2.40 there. We know that barley costs $2.20 a bushel. And we know that the mix is going to cost $2.34 a bushel. Okay, follow so far? Yes. Okay, how many numbers of bushels of corn do we have? Well, we don't know. A feed store owner wants to mix corn and barley to make 150 bushels of silage additive for cattle feed. So we know that the mix is going to be 150. So you got to let one of them be X and one of them be 150 minus X. So we'll just say corn's going to be X and barley's going to be 150 minus X. Okay, now all you do is you multiply through. 240 times X is 240X. 220 times 150 minus X. And then 150 times 2.34. All right, so we've got that done. Now we need to know, we know that the total is going to be what this is. So we have to multiply that out. When you multiply that out, you're going to get 351. So I'm just going to write 351 down here because that's what this equals. So how do we set this up? You're going to say this plus this equals this. Okay? 241 is 2.4x plus 2.2 times 150 minus x equals 351. Let's get rid of our decimals. Move that over 1, move that over 1, add a 0, okay? So now I get 24x plus 22 times 150 minus x equals 3,510. And I'm going to save time here. 22 times 150 is 3300, so 24x plus 3300 minus 22x equals 3510. Okay, let's combine like terms. I've got 2x. I'm going to subtract 3300 from both sides. All right, and I get 210, so x equals 105. So corn is going to be 105, and 150 minus 105 is 45. All right. And let me just make sure we answered the questions properly. The question says, how many bushels of each grain should he mix to yield an additive of 234 bushel? So the answer, you'd have to write this out. He would mix 105 bushels of corn and 45 bushels of barley. Okay? Here's the next example. It's on page 170. Nickel silver, often used for coating tableware, is an alloy containing 15% nickel, along with copper and zinc. How much pure nickel must be melted with 70 pounds of nickel silver to make an alloy that is 20% nickel? All right, so what do we know? We know the percentages. We know that the percent of nickel is going to be, I said 15% of nickel silver, so that's going to be 0.15. And then I said, let's see, 20% of the alloy, that's nickel, so that's the mix, that's going to be 0.20. and then the pure nickel. Where's my pure nickel? Nickel silver often used for coating tableware as an alloy containing 15%. How much pure nickel must be melted with 70 pounds of nickel silver to make an alloy that is one? Pure nickel is 100% nickel. So this is the percentage of nickel. So if pure nickel is 100% nickel, that's going to be 1.00 or just 1, right? Okay. So pounds of alloy, we need to figure out the pounds of alloy. We know that 70 pounds of nickel, that's how much this is going to be, 70. For the pure nickel, we have no idea because that's our question. And this is going to be the two combined, 70 plus X, because it's going to be both combined to make the mix. Okay, so now go through. You're going to get 0.15 times 70. You're going to get X, and you're going to get 0.2. I'm just going to drop the 0 now, times 70 plus X. All right, so that's what we've got. We have to form an equation from the columns we just completed. So the equation is going to be this plus this equals this, because nickel silver plus pure nickel is the mix. Times 70 plus X equals 0.2 times 70 plus X. Let's get rid of our decimals. Ready? 1, 2. That's going to be 15 times 70. Now, you know in front of the X there's a 1, so it's going to be 1 and then move it over twice. 1, 2. So now it's 100X. This 0.2 is going to move over twice. So 1, 2, it's going to be 20 times 70 plus X. So 15 times 70, I'm just going to make my life easy, is 1050 plus 100X equals 20 times 70 is 1400 plus 20X. So, oops, don't forget my X. I'm going to move my X over here and get 80X. So I just subtracted 20X from both sides. And then I'm going to subtract 1050, and I'm going to get what? 3, 10, 350, so 80X equals 350. So if you divide by 80 on both sides, you're actually going to get a decimal. Those that have a fun. X equals 4.375. So the amount of pure nickel that must be melted with the nickel silver is 4.375 pounds. So the answer is 4.375 pounds. All right, have a good, you're going to be working on page 171 and 172. I'm just going to have you do 1 through 19, and you're going to just have to do the best you can. Okay?